Jessica Carter was standing at the windows in the penthouse. She was looking at the Manhattan skyline. It was really pretty. It looked like a lot of stars. The view from the 60th floor was amazing. It was worth a lot of money. It did not feel very special to her. It felt of cold and far away. This was a lot like her husband. She had married him 2 years ago. Jessica Carter wrapped her silk robe around her body tight. She was not cold because of the temperature. Jessica Carter was feeling cold for a reason. The view of the Manhattan skyline was still really beautiful. It did not make Jessica Carter feel any better. She was still feeling cold and unhappy. The temperature in her home was always right 72 degrees because of the automatic system that controlled the climate. This was much like everything else in her life with Ethan Blackwood. Everything was empty. She had a life with Ethan Blackwood that was very controlled. It felt very empty. Behind her, the sound of silverware hitting china was really soft. Ethan was eating his breakfast in the dining room. He did this every morning. Ethan had coffee, wheat toast with a little bit of organic honey on it, and a bowl of mixed berries. Ethan would read the news on his tablet, which was the Wall Street Journal. He would answer the emails that needed a response right away. Then Ethan would leave for the office at 7:30. He always did this without missing a day. Jessica knew his schedule well, even better than she knew when her own heart was beating. She did not know what was going on inside of him. She did not know what he wanted to do with his life, what things he thought about at night that kept him awake, or what scared him much that he put up walls to keep people out, walls that she could not get, past walls that he built around the person that. Jessica wanted to know the person that was him. Jessica and Ethan's marriage was a lie. It looked nice with clothes and a really expensive wedding ring. This ring felt like something that trapped her, not something that showed love. Jessica was 26 years old when she met Ethan. She worked for a charity that helped kids learn about art. Ethan gave a speech at their main fundraising event. When he walked on stage, everyone in the room stopped talking. Just looked at him. Ethan Blackwood was really rich. But that is not all. He was also a powerful person. He had taken the hotel chain that his family owned and turned it into a huge company with luxury hotels all around the world. Ethan Blackwood was 33 years old, and he was already very famous. He had been on the cover of Forbes and Fortune magazines. People had taken his picture from every side because of his jaw and gray eyes that seemed to see right through you. It was not Ethan Blackwood's good looks or his wealth that had gotten Jessica's attention that night. It was something about Ethan Blackwood that had caught her eye. The way he talked about making the world a beautiful place was really something. He wanted to create spaces where people could go to feel happy and calm. This was the way he spoke about creating beauty in a world, about building spaces where people could find moments of peace and joy, and it was really beautiful. After he finished talking, he spotted her in the crowd. Their eyes met over the champagne fountain. He walked up to her like a man who always gets what he wants. When he smiled, she saw something in his eyes that made her feel like maybe he wanted something that money cannot buy. He wanted something. The way he looked at her made her think that maybe the champagne and fancy things were not what he was really looking for. He was looking for something that had to do with her, with the woman he had found in the crowd. The woman who was now standing in front of him. Ethan and her had a crazy romance. He went after her strongly that it took her breath away. They had dinners at fancy restaurants that would not let other people in. They took trips to Paris and Rome on the weekends, and he sent her flowers to her little apartment every single morning. He listened to her when she talked about her dreams of starting her event planning company. She wanted to plan events that were really special and meant something, not big parties for companies. Ethan seemed like he really cared about what she thought and felt. He was interested in the things that excited her, like her event planning company, and the things that she loved. Ethan made her feel like she was the person in the world, and that is what made her fall. For him, for Ethan. 6 months after Jessica met him, he asked her to marry him on a rooftop garden that looked out over Central Park. The ring he gave her was a 3-carat diamond that sparkled in the sunset and made little rainbows on her hand. Jessica said yes away because she thought she had found someone who really got her, someone who saw the real Jessica. The wedding was in Vogue. Jessica wore a fancy dress that cost a lot of money, even more than her parents paid for their whole house in Ohio. Everything was just right, like a movie or something. They had flowers and candles everywhere. Then something changed on their wedding night. Ethan kissed her forehead and said she looked nice, then he went to his office to take care of some work thing. She was lying in their honeymoon suite by herself when she fell asleep. She still had on her white lace lingerie. She could not think about him and wonder if he would ever come to bed with her in there. Honeymoon suite. That pattern had gone on for 2 years now. Ethan and his wife lived together in the house, but they were like two people living in different worlds. Ethan was always very polite to her. He always treated her with respect. He made sure she had everything she needed. He gave her credit cards with no limits, a driver to take her places. He took her to the best restaurants and shows in the city. Ethan went to charity events with her. When they were out in public, he would put his hand on her back, which made him look like a husband who really cared about his wife. Ethan did all of this. Ethan and his wife were still living separate lives. When they got home, he would go into his study or bedroom and stay there. This would leave her all alone to walk around the penthouse. It was like she was a ghost, quiet with no one to talk to. The penthouse was really big. It felt empty when he was not with her. Jessica had tried everything to get his attention. She planned nice dinners, but he would come and just pick at his food. She even wore lingerie, but he never got close enough to notice it. Jessica wanted to talk to him about what was going on with them. He would not listen. He always said everything was okay, that he was just really busy with work. After a time of him pushing her away, Jessica stopped trying. She felt lonely all the time, like it was something she was used to. It still hurt. The loneliness was always there, like a pain that would not go away. Jessica felt it down, and it was a sad feeling. She had thought about leaving many times. Something always stopped her from doing it. It could have been the memory of the 6 months they were together when he was really different and open with her. Sometimes she would catch a glimpse of something in his eyes when he did not think she was looking, and that would make her think twice. Maybe she just did not know where else to go. The event planning business she had started had not done well after they got married. People thought that she did not have to work because of her situation. So potential clients stopped calling her. Her friends slowly stopped talking to her. They could not understand what it was like to be in her position. She felt really alone after her parents died in a car accident. This happened a few months after she got married. Now she only had her husband. He barely even touched her. The husband was the person she had left, but it felt like she did not really have him either. Jessica turned away from the window, walked toward the dining room. Ethan looked up from his tablet as Jessica entered the dining room, and for a moment, something flickered in Ethan's gray eyes. Was it concern or longing that Jessica saw in Ethan's eyes? It vanished quickly that Jessica might have imagined the whole thing. Jessica thought about what she saw in Ethan's eyes. It was gone before she could really think about what it meant. "Morning, Jessica," he said to her. His voice was really smooth. Sounded like he was talking to important people at work, like the ones on his team. "Morning," she said, pouring coffee into her cup from the silver carafe. The coffee flowed out. Her hands moved a little, which made her feel bad. She had been doing this for 2 years now, being polite and cold. It still bothered her every day. 2 years should have been time for her to get used to it, but the feeling of hurt was still there every single day. She hated that she was still hurting from this. She wished she could just stop feeling it. The silver carafe was full of coffee. She poured some more into her cup, trying to focus on that instead of her feelings. Ethan told her that he has meetings that will go on until late tonight. He did not look at her when he said this. He said to her that she should not stay up waiting for him to come home. Jessica nodded. He did not notice it. He never notices these things. She sat down across from him, started to pick at a croissant, even though she was not really hungry. She looked at him from under her eyelashes. He is a man really handsome. The years have been good to him. His face has character now. There are a few hairs in his dark hair, but they make him look sophisticated, not old. His hands are long and nice to look at. He uses them to touch the screen of his tablet with ease. Jessica thinks about how nice his hands look. She looks at him again. He is still handsome, with his dark hair and nice hands. She remembered those hands holding hers in Paris. They were so gentle and warm. Now those hands only touched documents and devices. She thought about those hands. How they used to make her feel. Those hands were always gentle with her. Now they were only used for work, touching documents and devices all the time. The silence between Jessica and him was really big. Jessica felt like yelling, like throwing her coffee cup at the wall, like asking him to look at her, to really look at her. Jessica did not do that. Jessica knew that when she showed her feelings, he would go further into his work and being responsible. Jessica wanted him to see her, to really see Jessica. The mail slot made a noise. That was it for the quiet. The housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, showed up with a tray that had mail on it. She put the tray down next to Ethan's food. Then she was gone. Ethan started looking at the mail. He was not really interested. Then he saw one letter that made him stop. Ethan's whole body got stiff. His face turned white. He just kept staring at the address on the letter that said where it came from. The address on the mail was what caught Ethan's attention, the mail. With the return address that made Ethan's face pale, Jessica said, "What is it?" You could tell she really wanted to know. She was actually worried, which was not. Like her, because Jessica usually kept people at arm's length, Ethan did not say a word. He opened the envelope. His hands were shaking a little. He pulled out one piece of paper. Jessica looked at him as he read it. She saw his jaw get tight. His hands got really tight around the letter. When he looked up at her, his eyes locked onto hers. It was like he was looking right through her. It was so strong that it took her breath away. This was the time in 2 years that Jessica felt like someone really understood her. Ethan's eyes were still on hers. It made her feel like he could see right into her soul. "We need to talk," he said in a voice. "Tonight is the night. It does not matter how late my meetings go on, I will be home by 8 o'clock. Please make sure you are here at my place when I get home." Jessica could only nod, her heart pounding. Something had changed. Something had broken through the ice. As Ethan stood and gathered his things, he paused beside her chair. His hand hovered over her shoulder, almost touching, before he pulled away and walked out the door. Jessica sat frozen, staring at the space where he had been, wondering what that letter contained and whether tonight would bring the end of their marriage or, impossibly, the beginning of something real. The day was really dragging on. Jessica wanted to take her mind off things, so she read a book. Then she cleaned out her closet. After that, she took a bath, but it did not help her stop thinking about it. What was in that letter that Jessica got? Who sent the letter to Jessica? The letter really got to Ethan. That is weird because Ethan had not been upset about anything for 2 years. Jessica was wondering why the letter affected Ethan much. By 7:30, she was walking back and forth in the living room. She was wearing a blue dress. Her hair was down and all around her shoulders. She thought about getting all dressed up. She did not do it. Whatever happened tonight, she wanted to be herself when it did. She did not want to be the polished trophy wife that she had become. She wanted to face whatever happened as herself, not as that person. At 8 o'clock, she heard the key in the lock. Ethan stepped through the door. Jessica was really surprised by how bad Ethan looked. His tie was not tied properly. His hair was a bit messy. There were dark circles under Ethan's eyes that made it seem like Ethan had not been sleeping well for a long time, maybe even weeks. Jessica said, "You came." She sounded really soft. She was surprised that you actually showed up, even though you told her you would. Ethan said, "I will do it." He put down his briefcase, took off his jacket, putting it on the back of a chair. Then he looked at her for a long time. She saw something in Ethan's face that she had never seen before. It was fear. Ethan had fear in his eyes when he looked at her. Jessica asked him about the letter when he did not say anything. What did the letter say? She wanted to know. Ethan walked to the bar, got himself a drink of scotch. He drank half of the scotch in one gulp. Then Ethan pulled the letter out of his pocket, gave it to Jessica. Jessica opened the letter with fingers that were shaking and started to read the letter. The letter was what Ethan had given to Jessica. Now she was reading it. The letter was from a doctor who specializes in the heart. At first the words did not make sense to her. Then she saw some things that really stood out. The doctor said she had a condition that runs in the family. The doctor also said the condition was very bad and that she needed to have surgery. The surgery is very risky. The doctor was not sure if the surgery would work for her heart condition. She kept thinking about the heart condition and the surgery. Jessica whispered to him, "Do you really have a heart condition?" She looked up at him with wide eyes. "How long have you been aware that you have a heart condition?" Ethan said this quietly. He turned away from Jessica to look out at the city lights. "My father died 6 months before I met you," he said. "He died from the thing that I have." He was 42 years old. "After he died, I found out that I got it from him. The doctors told me how long I have. It is not good. They gave me choices for treatment, but it does not really matter. The truth is, my heart is not working well, Jessica. It is getting worse slowly, but it is still getting worse. My heart is failing, Jessica. It is just giving up slowly." Jessica felt like the whole room was spinning around her. She sat down hard on the sofa. The letter was still clutched tightly in Jessica's hand. Jessica wanted to know one thing from the person who wrote the letter. "Why did you never tell Jessica about this?" Ethan laughed. It was a sad sound. He did not think it was funny all. "How do you tell someone something like that?" he said. "You want to ask them out on a date? You want to say I like you? Then you have to tell them that you might die soon. You have to say I like you. I might not be alive in a few years. What kind of woman would want to be with someone like that? What woman would want to be with Ethan knowing that Ethan might die before they can even get to know Ethan well?" Jessica said this with a lot of feeling. "I would have stayed with you," she told him. "If you had told me the truth and trusted me, I would have still chosen to be with you." Ethan turned to face her. The sadness in his eyes was really tough for her to see. It made her feel very bad. "Would you have still wanted to be with me?" he asked. Would she have felt sorry for him? Would they have been happy together? Would they have always thought about the fact that their time together might be short? Ethan did not want that to happen. He did not want Jessica to see him as a person who was dying. He did not want to be the person Jessica felt bad for. Ethan wanted to feel like everything was okay, even if it was for a little bit. He wanted to feel like a person, not someone who was sick. Ethan wanted to be with Jessica. He wanted everything to be fine. Jessica was the person he cared about. He did not want his illness to affect the way she saw him. Ethan wanted to be happy with Jessica. He wanted their time together to be happy, not sad. Jessica said to me, "You married me, and then you pushed me away." It was like she finally understood what was going on. "You thought you were protecting me," she said. Jessica looked at me, and I could see it in her eyes. She knew that. I was trying to protect Jessica. Ethan said that he thought he could really do it. He was sitting there, running his hands through his hair. He looked really frustrated. He thought he could marry Jessica, give her the life she really deserved. He wanted to keep her at a distance, so it would not hurt him much when he was gone. It has been really tough for him. Every morning he sits across from Jessica at the table. All he wants to do is pull her into his arms. Every night he lies awake knowing that Jessica is down the hall from him. He is having a time dealing with his feelings for Jessica. Ethan feels like he is being torn apart by his love for her. He wishes he could be with Jessica the way he really wants to. He is afraid of getting hurt. Ethan loves Jessica much, and it is hard for him to be around her and not be able to show her how he feels. "I really want to go to you. I told myself that it is better this way. When the end comes, you will be able to walk, and it will not hurt you as much. I want you to be able to move on without feeling much pain. I am thinking about you. I want what is best for you, kinder." Jessica stood up. She was really angry. She felt angry because her husband had not been treating her well. "You think our life has been kind to me?" she said. "You think it has been easy for me to live with you, like we are strangers? I have been hurting every day that we have been married. I always wonder what I did wrong. I wonder why you do not want to touch me. Marriage is supposed to be about love and kindness. You think I have not been in a lot of pain because of this?" "Jessica, no," Ethan said as he walked over to her fast. His hands were right near her shoulders. He did not touch her. "You did not do anything," he told her. "Jessica is perfect. She is a person and very kind. She is everything Ethan could have ever wanted. That is why Ethan had to stay from Jessica. If Ethan let himself love Jessica the way he really wanted to, then losing Jessica would be very bad for him. It would make the rest of Ethan's life very difficult. Jessica said, "It is too late." Tears were running down her face. "Do you not get it? I really love you. I fell for you that first night we met at the gala. I have been in love with you ever since. I loved you even when things were tough, like when we had breakfast together and all those lonely nights. You tried to push me, but that did not help us at all. It just made both of us very unhappy. I love you. I wish you would understand that pushing me away did not protect you or me. It just made us both feel miserable. I have been loving you all this time." Ethan looked at her. She could see that he was really struggling. "I got a letter today," he said in a voice. "It is from a doctor who thinks he can help me. This doctor wants to do a kind of surgery on me. It is a thing that not many people have tried. The doctor says that 60% of the people who have had this surgery have gotten better. If it works for me, I could live a normal life for a long time. I could live for decades of just a few years. If the surgery does not work, something really bad could happen. I could even die there on the table. I have to make a decision about what to do soon. The doctor needs to know what I want to do within the week." Jessica said this in a voice. She took a step closer to him, took his hands in her hands. For the time in 2 years, he did not pull his hands away from Jessica. His fingers held tight to Jessica's hands. "Like a man who is drowning and needs something to hold on to," Ethan said in a quiet voice. "I am so scared." The way he said it made Jessica feel bad for being angry with him. "I am scared that I will die," Ethan said. "What really scares me is living my life in a way that is not right." Ethan thought about what he had done. "I have wasted 2 years trying to keep you safe, Jessica," he said. "All I did was hurt you, the person I care about the most." "In the whole world, Jessica." "Then stop protecting me," Jessica said, reaching up to cup Ethan's face in her hands. "Stop deciding what I can handle," she told him. "I am your wife, Ethan. We made promises to each other. For better or worse, in sickness and health, we said that to each other. Those promises meant something to me, even if our wedding night did not go the way." "I planned," Jessica said to Ethan. A small smile appeared on Ethan's face. He said, "I thought about coming to see you that night. I stood outside your door for 20 minutes trying to convince myself that I was strong enough to be a husband, to you to be the husband that you deserved. The truth is, I was scared. I was really scared. And that made me a coward. Coward when it came to you and our life together, and that is what I was. A coward." "Then do not be a coward now," Jessica said softly. "I really want us to spend whatever time we have left together. Together. We should be husband and wife," Jessica said. "We should actually love each other, not live in the same house like roommates or work together like business partners. Jessica wants to spend whatever happens with this surgery, whatever time we have left, really living with her husband. Jessica wants to be with her husband, not as friends or partners, but as a wife who loves her husband." Ethan closed his eyes. Then he opened them again. His eyes were really shiny because he was about to cry. He said, "I do love you, Jessica. I loved you from the start when you told me I was wrong about how my company was acting at that fancy party. I loved you on the bad days when our marriage was not happy. If you want to be with me for real, I promise I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you for all the time I messed up. I will make it up to you, Jessica, because I love you, Jessica, and I want to be with you, Jessica." Jessica did not say a thing. She just pulled him down to her, kissed him. This was not a kiss. It was a kiss that had 2 years of waiting and being upset and loving him all mixed together. Ethan kissed her back away. He put his arms around her waist, pulled her close to him. She could feel his heart beating fast against her chest. That heart of his had been. He had tried so hard to keep it safe. Jessica loved his heart so much, even with all its problems. She loved Ethan and his heart no matter what. When Ethan and the woman he loved finally broke apart, they were both out of breath. Ethan rested his forehead against hers. He said, "I want the surgery," in a voice. Ethan wanted to have the chance to have a life with the woman he loved, a life with her. Ethan knew the odds were not perfect. There was some risk, but he really wanted to try. Ethan wanted to try because he wanted a life with the woman he loved. Jessica said, "Then we try together. We will do this as a team. Whatever happens to us, we will deal with it together." There will be no walls between us and no more distance. We will face everything that happens to the relationship together, Ethan." Then he smiled. It's a real smile that changed his whole face. He said, "Can I ask you something?" About this, and he was looking at the person he was talking to, waiting for them to say it was okay. Ethan really wanted to ask this question, so he was waiting for the person to say yes, and then he would ask. Ethan was thinking about this for a time, and now he was going to ask the person, and he was happy that he could finally ask the person something, anything. "Want to pick you up and take you to our bedroom? You know, the one that is supposed to be for both of us. I have been your husband for 2 years now, and I feel like I have not been a good one. I want to make up for that. I want to start making it right tonight with you in our bedroom. I really want to start tonight and be a husband to you." Jessica laughed. It was a sound. She felt really happy for the time since she had been in this penthouse. "Yes, please," she said. The penthouse had not made her feel happy until now. Jessica was glad she was laughing. Ethan picked her up, held her close, and Jessica put her arms around Ethan's neck. She felt how strong Ethan's body was and how steady Ethan's heartbeat was. Ethan carried her down the hall to the master bedroom. Jessica felt like she was finally home after being for a very long time. She was with Ethan. That made her feel safe. Ethan was taking care of her. That felt really good. Jessica was happy to be with Ethan in the master bedroom. That night, Ethan and Jessica made love with a lot of feeling. They touched each other like they were doing it for the time, even though they had been married to each other for 2 years. Ethan touched every part of Jessica's body like he wanted to remember what it felt like. Jessica held Ethan close to her. She could feel his heart beating against her heart. They talked to each other in between kisses, telling each things they had never told before, like things that scared them and things they wanted to do with their lives. Ethan and Jessica shared their secrets, and Ethan and Jessica told each other their dreams. Ethan told her about his childhood. He talked about what it was like growing up with a father who was always very sick. That was very hard for Ethan. Ethan had to take over the company when he was 25 years old. This happened when his father finally died from the illness that Ethan is dealing with now. Jessica shared her feelings of being lonely. She said she felt like she was not really a part of their marriage. She felt like a ghost. Jessica said she felt beautiful. She did not feel like a real person to her husband as the sun came up over Manhattan. Jessica and Ethan were all wrapped up together. Jessica's head was on Ethan's chest. She liked listening to the beat of his heart. It was like music to her. This sound told her that Ethan was really alive. They had this moment now, and Jessica hoped they would have a lot of moments like this in the future. The sound of Ethan's heart was nice to hear because it meant that Jessica and Ethan were together, and that felt good. To her, Jessica said softly, "Whatever happens with the surgery, I want you to know that these past few hours have been really special. To me, all the nights I spent alone, all the breakfasts I ate by myself, they were all cold and lonely. I do not mind any of that now because it was all worth it to get to this moment with the surgery. The surgery is what matters to me now, and I am glad I got to spend these few hours with you before the surgery." Ethan kissed the top of her head. His arms got tighter around her. "The surgery is in 3 weeks," he said. "Will you be there when I wake up from the surgery?" Ethan really wanted the woman he cared about to be with him after the surgery. He was thinking about the surgery, how it would be nice to have her by his side. Ethan felt better when she was near him, so he asked her again, "Will you be there with me after the surgery?" Jessica said to me, "I will be with you when you go to sleep. I will be with you when you wake up," she also said, "and then I will be with you for every moment after that. For as long as Jessica and you live." 3 weeks later, Jessica was sitting in a hospital waiting room. It was a cold and boring place. She had her hands closed tightly in her lap. The doctors were working on Ethan's heart. They were trying to fix it. Mrs. Chen was sitting next to Jessica. She was being very quiet and nice. The time was going slowly. Each minute felt like it was never going to end. Jessica was praying to God. She was not really sure if she believed in God or not. She was asking for one more chance to be with Ethan. She wanted to see one sunrise with the man she loved with Ethan. The surgeon came out. He looked really tired. He was smiling. You could tell he was exhausted. Jessica already knew what he was going to say. The surgery on Ethan's heart was a success. His heart was fixed. Now Ethan just has to get better. It will take a time, but the doctor said everything will be okay. Really okay? They are talking about Ethan living for decades, not just a few years. The surgery was really successful. Ethan's heart is going to be fine. Jessica was able to go into the room where Ethan was recovering. He was sleeping. There were lots of tubes and machines around him. His face looked calm. Jessica took Ethan's hand carefully, so she did not bother the special line that was giving him medicine. Then she sat down in the chair next to Ethan's bed. She was going to do what she said she would do. She would stay with Ethan until he woke up. Jessica would be there when Ethan woke up. Hours later, the afternoon sunlight came through the hospital window. Ethan's eyes slowly opened. He looked at Jessica. Even though he was clearly in pain, Ethan smiled at Jessica. He said hello. His voice was really rough because of the tube that was helping him. Breathe, Jessica said quietly. Hi. Was so happy to see him that tears of relief were running down her face. Welcome back, she said to him. So I was wondering if it actually worked like it was supposed to. Did the thing I tried really work? It is okay now. You are going to be fine, Ethan. Everything will be all right. We are going to be fine, Ethan. Ethan's eyes closed again. His hand got tighter around hers. I love you, he said softly, already going back to sleep to get better. Jessica told him that she loves him too. She kissed his knuckles softly. 6 months later, Jessica was standing at the big windows that went all the way to the ceiling, looking out over Manhattan, but a lot of things were different now. Ethan had his arms around her waist. From behind his chin was resting on her shoulder. They were watching the sunset together. It was making the sky look really pretty with all the orange and pink colors. The penthouse was still the same. It did not feel like a fancy jail anymore. The penthouse felt like Jessica's home now. It felt like Ethan's home too. The penthouse felt like their home. Ethan asked her what is going on in her mind. His voice was really nice and gentle. It felt good, against her ear. Ethan wanted to know what she was thinking about. Jessica said this as she leaned back into his arms. Everything is really different now. We wasted 2 years of our lives. The thing is, we have the rest of our lives to make things right. Jessica thought about this. She knew that she and he have a long time to make up for what they lost. No regrets? Jessica turned in his arms to face him. I do not have any regrets. Everything we went through brought us to this moment. I would not trade this moment with Jessica and him for anything. This moment with Jessica and him is really special to Jessica and him. Ethan kissed her softly. This was the kind of kiss that meant something. It was a kiss that said they would be together for a time. I have a surprise for you, Ethan said, when Ethan and she stopped kissing. You are giving me another one? You have been treating me well since I had my surgery. This is really nice of you. I feel like you have been spoiling the surgery patient, which is me terribly since the surgery. Ethan pulled out an envelope from his pocket, handed it to her. He said, this one is different. Then he told her to open it. Inside the place was a paper that said who owned a building in Soho. This building was really old and pretty. It had windows and you could see the bricks on the inside. Jessica looked up at him, said I do not understand because she was confused. Ethan said this is for your event planning company. You know, the one you always wanted to have. The one that is about making celebrations really special and not just about spending a lot of money on corporate parties. I got you the building. The business is totally yours to run. I will not get in the way. I just want to help you out and be there for you. Sometimes I can even lend a hand when you need to move things around like furniture and stuff. Jessica looked at the deed. Then she looked at her husband. She felt much love for him. The deed was really special to her. You remembered, she said to her husband. Jessica was thinking about how much this deed meant to her and her husband. Ethan said this quietly. He told her that he remembers everything she ever said to him. He remembers all of her dreams. He remembers all of the things she hopes for. Ethan wants to spend the rest of his life helping her get all of the things she wants. He wants to help Ethan's girl achieve every dream. He wants to help her with every hope she has. Jessica threw her arms around his neck. She was crying at the same time. Jessica felt really happy. She asked, "How did I get so lucky to have Jessica's life turn out this way with this person?" Ethan said, "We were really lucky." He held Jessica close to him. "We got another chance. I promise you, Jessica, I will not waste any more time. I will make the most of the life we have, Jessica." As the sun set over Manhattan, it made everything look nice and golden. Jessica and Ethan were standing together holding each other tight. They were really happy. Jessica and Ethan had been through some times, but they made it through. They learned that love is not about everything being perfect from the start. Jessica and Ethan learned that love is about choosing each other every day. They have to do this even when they're scared or things seem uncertain. Jessica and Ethan will keep choosing each other until the day they die. As Ethan had promised, they did not waste another moment. They had a lot of fun together. Their days were full of laughter. They loved each other much. Jessica's event planning company was doing well. She was planning parties and events for couples and families all over the city. Ethan was working now. He was letting his team do work so he could be with his wife. They would take walks in Central Park. They would cook dinner together in their kitchen. They would travel to places that Jessica and Ethan had always wanted to visit. Jessica and Ethan were happy together. 5 years after that big change in their lives, they had a baby. They had a girl and they named her Hope. When Ethan held Hope for the time, he started crying. He was so happy to have a child, something he never thought would happen to him. Jessica saw her husband holding their girl, and she knew that all the hard times were worth it. To feel this happy now, their story was not a fairy tale. They had days and scary moments when Ethan went to the doctor for checkups. The memory of those 2 tough years would sometimes make them feel sad. They always faced things together, holding hands and being open with each other. They chose to love each other of being afraid every single day. The love of Ethan and the people around him was very strong. They loved each other. That is what made them happy, the love they had. For each other in the end, the greatest victory of all was that they had really found each other. Ethan's surgery going well was a relief, and they felt thankful for that every single day. Having a lot of money and a nice house was great too. The best thing that happened was that 2 people who were just going through the motions of life together found the strength to really look at each other. They were brave enough to take a chance and risk everything for something that was real and true. The greatest victory of all was that they had found each other, and that was the thing that could have happened to them. Their marriage started badly. They were apart for 2 years. It was like they were strangers. They did not even touch each other. They did not really talk to each other. One night something happened. The man wrote a letter to the woman. This letter was very honest. It changed everything. The woman saw how vulnerable the man was. This moment changed their marriage. They started to build something from the bad start they had. Their marriage became beautiful and real. It lasted. The marriage of the man and the woman became something true and lasting. Jessica. Carter and Ethan Blackwood had learned the hardest lesson love has to teach. That sometimes the greatest risk is not in loving and losing, but in never truly loving at all.